Chair lays out House Bill 652 and recognizes Representative Nieves to explain her bill.
Thank you, Madam Chairwoman. Members, for the opportunity to lay out House Bill 652, which will help protect victims of family violence. I respectfully ask for your favorable consideration and I believe that on this particular issue, we can come together to protect a group of women who are having to essentially hide what's going on behind closed doors. We know that domestic violence is a crime that tears at the most sacred parts of a family. It's a crime that's cloaked in fear. Right now, the safety and intimacy of home can be grossly violated by domestic abusers. To victims, sometimes home is never safe because of their abuser, and to children, a home is sometimes not a happy place to be. But I can't begin to imagine the sheer amount of courage it takes for a mother to take herself and her children to escape the grasp of a domestic abuser to go to a domestic violence shelter. House Bill 652 aims to protect those locations just as we protected places of worship when we passed Senate Bill 4. As I mentioned, during the interim, through the task force that we created, we had rape crisis centers and battered women's shelters that were part of our task force, and they would share stories with us of women who feared going to the police, who feared reporting their crimes, and feared reporting their abusers because of the concern that their immigration status would be checked. If there is any place, in addition to a place of worship in our schools, that we should protect individuals, it is a domestic violence shelter. We've seen data, and we've handed to the clerk information to articles. There are multiple articles, I'm just giving you one, that has statistics and data about the decrease in reports right here in our own state in Texas, in our own backyards, of individuals not wanting to report to law enforcement. I'll give you just briefly a few statistics. In 2017, the Houston Police Department saw a nearly 43% decrease in the number of Hispanic victims reporting rape, despite rapes reported by non-Hispanics increasing by 8%. They also saw a 16% drop in family violence reports from the Latino community in 2017. In Dallas, we're hearing it as well. The Dallas Police Association supports this legislation. Here in Austin, the Safe Alliance, which is saw a decrease in callers from Spanish speakers. In that article, it has a law enforcement officer who is tasked with going out into the communities, and the prosecutors and law enforcement want victims to come forward. They want victims of domestic violence to not fear reporting their abuser. This legislation will help our communities be more safe by essentially protecting domestic violence shelters from the purview of Senate Bill 4. I'm happy to answer questions, but I think in this particular time, on this particular issue, it's a community that we want to be able to come forward to keep our communities more safe and not fear reporting that they are victims of domestic violence. And I respectfully reserve my right to close.
Thank you. Members, any questions?